everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at my completed pages for November. So it's already the 3rd of December, but this is the first chance that I've had to actually sit down and film for you guys because I've been super busy at work. So let's move these out the way and we'll get started. So I think we'll start with Lost Ocean. So this book I actually haven't worked in for so long, and then when I filmed my all completed pages for you guys, I thought, do you know what, there's some really cute pages in here that I just haven't done and I should really come back to it. So I decided to do this page. So it's like the underwater castle page. I thought I'd use the coarse pastel pencils so that we'd have like a lovely pastel little castle, and I tried to do each bit in different colours so that it'd be as bright as possible. And then I used the same pencils, the coarse pastel pencils, to do all the flowers in the background so that it all kind of matched and looked similar. And then I used some Arteza pencils for the sand and for the sea itself, which by the way took forever to colour in pencil, and my pencil is now like this big. So it's a big task. Maybe next time I think I'd probably use like pastels, soft pastels, or maybe even watercolours to do the background instead of pencils, because it did take such a long time. But you do get that sense of achievement when you finish a page like this and you've, you know, done the whole background and made it all look really nice. It's sort of like, yay, I finished a big picture. So yeah, I did this one. I added in some brown Posca paint here to add in some like little details to the sand, and then I also added some white Posca to use for these little bubbles here, and I used a little bit of gold gel pen, so just to go around this crown here in the bottom, so if you can see that's a little shiny crown. So I'll just pull this in a little bit closer for you so that you can take a good look. The little fishes there. And this little bead thing here I did in gold as well to try and make that look like some more jewellery. But yeah, it's quite a nice picture. I'm quite happy with how it turned out in the end. And like I say, it did take me a long time to do it. So that was that one. Next I wanted to do a Christmas page because we are in the season of Christmas, and who doesn't love Christmas? So I thought I'd get an early start and do one in November. So this one is Country Christmas Colouring Book from Creative Haven, and it's by Teresa Goodrich. So I think her books are super cute and they're not very expensive. They're only like £3 or £4 off Amazon. So this is the page that I chose to do, a lovely Christmas tree interior page. So for this I used Castle Art pencils. So I did the majority of this picture in Castle Art pencils, and then I used some touch markers. So the markers I used on the bigger spaces, so for example the carpet I filled in with the touch markers, the curtains, the walls was done in touch markers, and the settee. And then what I did is I used the Castle Art pencils to go over and add some shade into it. So in the carpet, because it was quite a dark colour, I went with like a really dark brown to add in some shade in between the presents and on the floor. And then again here, just a slightly darker brown than the marker that I used for the chair to give that some shade in and some texture. And then a really dark brown for the curtains to break that up a little bit and add in a little bit of texture in there. So I don't know if you can see, but I did add some sparkles onto the bells in the background. So they've got some gold gel pen on, and then there's some gold gel pen just around the very edges of the stars. It's not really picking up on camera, but they are sparkly. And then I used some gold gel pen for this little bauble over here. And some white Posca to add in the snow coming through the window. But this is just a super cute Christmassy page, and I love Christmas, so the more Christmas pages the better for me. So that is this one. So now that it's December, we can do loads of Christmas pages. The next one that I've got is actually a PDF. So this PDF was released by Joanna Basford, and it was released quite a long time ago. just before she brought out her Worlds of Wonder book. So this one I've been doing for ages, and I just looked at it the other day and I thought I really need to finish that now because it's just going on and on. So for this I used Arteza pencils for all of them apart from the last two that I did, which was this one and this one. So these two were done with the Brute Verna pencils. Just to complete the page, I decided to do them too with the Brute Verna pencils. But they're just super cute little tiny images that should have took me no time at all to do, and I just dragged my feet and sort of took my time. This one I actually added in the sunflower in the background just to make it look a little bit more detailed. It's not the best that I've ever done, but it's also not the worst. I tried to make his little wings look like they were see-through. And then here we've got the little bottle with the potion in and the nice little fishes. This one I tried to make it look like the glass was see-through so you could see the background coming through. And then I did the little sea, the little boat in the sea in the little glass bottle. Tried to make that look a little bit more reflective by adding some white onto there. But yeah, they're just super tiny little pictures that shouldn't really take very long, but like I say, it's took me a while to finish it. So that's that one. I'll just put this back in here so it doesn't get damaged. And then I can put it in my little folder of PDFs that I've got. Okay, so moving on to Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Carlson. So for this one, I did the name page. So I wanted to do the name page before I started in the book itself. So this is what it looks like. I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils to do this. So I made this look like wood, and then the beads and the crown I made look like a gold effect. And I think it came out quite well considering I didn't use any gel pen on there or anything. It's just all gold pencils. And then I used a gold gel pen to put my name in and a love heart just to fill up a little bit of space in there. But I didn't want to do a background because I just wanted to keep it simple and just get it finished so that it's done, and then I can move on and actually make a start in this book because there's some really lovely pictures that I can't wait to get coloured. So that's that one. Next, moving on to Rita Berman. So this is her 4 Seasons book. So I decided to do one of the autumn pages because we were still in autumn when I was colouring it. So this one I used the Castle Art pencils. So for everything in the front really, so like this puddle, these big leaves and the floor was all done with Castle Art pencils. So it's about the 4th or 5th time that I've used them now, and I'm actually starting to get the hang of them. They are actually quite nice pencils. They do blend together quite well. As you can see here, I've blended them in the clouds, all different pinks and purples and blues, and mixed them all together. And then I've used like a slightly dark pink here to add some shading onto the wellies, which just makes it look like it's a little bit further back. And then for the background, I used watercolour paints. So what I wanted to do was try and make it look like, you know, all leaves were falling in the background, like a proper autumn scene. So I picked out some sort of leafy type colours, a bit of orangey, browny greens, and then I just sort of dotted them onto the page with the paintbrush, and then used a tissue to sort of splatter them out a bit and spread them out so that they weren't too defined. And this is how it came out. So it's the first time I've ever tried this, and I actually really like it. I think it's got quite a cool effect on the background, and it's just a little bit different rather than just painting it all one colour, or, you know, using soft pastels to just do it all in one colour. And then I did use a bit of white Posca just to go around the raindrops and the clouds, and just to add a little bit more of a texture to them. So that was that picture. The next one from Rita Berman is from her new book. So I believe it's called My Tour Around Europe, something like that. And I did this turtle page, or tortoise. So for this was an absolute disaster of a page for me. So I coloured in the turtle himself and all the, you know, sort of sea behind him in the stones, and I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils for that. And that turned out really cute. And then I started colouring in the background and started adding, you know, different colours to the background and filling it all in. And then I just looked at it and I just really wasn't happy with it. So I thought I'll use some acrylic paint and paint like a seascape behind it instead. So like all different blues and greens and make it look like the ocean. And that turned out absolutely horrific. So my final resort to try and save this page was to paint it black. So it's not the prettiest, but it is a completed page and an epic fail on my part, but I'm willing to share because, you know, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? So yeah, that is acrylic paint in the background. And the only other thing that I did was sort of outline the glass bottle with the white Posca to try and get that to stand out a little bit more. So that is my disaster page for the month, you guys. Stay tuned for next month's disaster page. Next we have Romantic Country by Erie. So I'm kind of late to the party with this book. I know a lot of people have already got it, but I've literally just gotten it and I think it is super cute. There's so many good pictures in here that I'm really looking forward to colouring. But this was the page that I went with for the first page that I did. So I used the Brute Verner pencils for this, and they work really nicely on this paper actually. It's quite a soft paper, it doesn't feel like there's much texture on it. But these pencils worked really well. So I just did each little stamp differently to try and make them all stand out on their own, and just sort of try to use different colours and different backgrounds and things to break it up so it didn't all look the same. I'm really happy with this little castle down here. I think that is super cute. It's a lovely blue and pink castle, which is kind of the castle that I would want to live in if I lived in a castle. And then for these ones, I tried to make it look a bit more like, you know, when you have a coin and it's got like the head embroidered onto it. So I did them in gel pen, so silver and gold gel pen for them ones. So you can probably see they are a little bit sparkly. And then for this bottom one, this Christmas tree, I went round that in a silver gel pen as well. Don't know if you can see that. Oh, you can. So that's got sort of silver gel pen all around that to make that look a bit more Christmassy. But yeah, I really like how the Brute Verner pencils worked in here. They actually work really nicely. I got some good colour payoff, and my beautiful multicoloured feather, which I think is probably the most standout thing on the whole page. So that was that one. But I didn't do a background because I haven't done the opposite page yet. So what I'm going to do is do the opposite page and see what colours I use on here. And then I'll try and sort of do similar on the background for this one so that it kind of matches and doesn't look too different. Because I like to make them look quite similar so that they, you know, you don't look at the page and think, oh, that doesn't look anything like that one. So that is next on my to-do list. And then the last book that I've got to share with you today is A Million Mermaids by Lulu Mayo. So in this book I did another turtle picture. Obviously I was trying to redeem myself from the last disaster. So for this one I used Bambino crayons to do the sea. So this sort of blue and green here was the Bambino crayons. And then all of the background sort of flowers and people and animals was done with Faber-Castell Black Edition. I used Faber-Castell Black Edition for the turtle as well, and I think he came out super cute. I love his little bow tie. I did it green and yellow checked, and then I just sort of went round his little shell shapes with a brown colour to break that up a little bit and give it a little bit more of a tortoise or a turtle vibe, because they do have a bit of brown on them. And then for this guy up here, I decided to add in some scales on his fishtail, because he already had a fishtail but it didn't have any scales on it. So I made him look a bit more like a mermaid. And then I used white Posca paint to go around the sea and to add like a little bit of water texture there underneath the turtle, and some to the clouds and the bubbles as well. And I think that's all I used for this page. Oh, and some gold gel pen for her little flute actually. So that little flute there was done in gold gel pen. But yeah, these books are just super cute, you know. I don't think they're very expensive. And the pictures are always really cute in there. So I really enjoy working in Lulu Mayo's books. So that's it, you guys. That's our completed pages for November. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And I will see you soon for our next video. Take care. Bye.